Hi, my beautiful souls. Welcome back to hashtag love yourself. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the signs to know if you're really doing the work to love yourself. Before we jump into the episode, let's go ahead and thank our sponsor for today's episode, which is Loveworkers LLC, which is the company that I run. And Loveworkers LLC is an online business that helps people become the best versions of them. So it gives the tools and the resources people need to learn and grow and be healthy and live their best life. So I do lots of things online, and I teach classes. I do one-on-one coaching. So if that's something that you're interested, go ahead and definitely check out the link that I'll leave below. And let's go ahead and get into our episode. So when you are loving yourself, there's a few ways to know if you're actually doing the work to love yourself. Because there are a few strong points of someone who loves themselves that are not going to ever waver from their place. And so if you're loving yourself and if you're wondering, am I really doing the work to love myself? Then if you go through this checklist, you'll know where you kind of stand or how far from the mark you actually are. So the first thing, if you're loving yourself, you're only allowing healthy people in your life. This is probably the biggest, most important part of loving ourselves, right? Is protecting our mental health, our emotional health, protecting our peace so that we can thrive and be the best versions of us. Now, obviously we don't live in a world where we live by ourselves and we live alone. We live in a world with all different humans and everybody's trying to figure it out for themselves. And so that's the thing, is when you really truly are healthy and you're loving yourself, you're not stooping down to the level of unhealth with unhealthy people. Okay. And if those people do come into your space or into your reality, you have the ways to relinquish those relationships or to kind of keep those people at bay so that they're not affecting your mental and emotional health, right? You have really good, healthy boundaries to keep yourself not only feeling good, but living at your optimal, like enjoyment and peace and all those sorts of things that we're striving to do every day. So, one thing that I like to tell people is when they come to me, especially if they're beginning on this journey and they're like, well, how do I know how far in or deep down I really am? And cause you don't know like what you don't know, right? You don't know if you don't know about health or if you don't know about unhealth, right? So people, they question that. And I said, well, all you have to do, this is what I tell people every time, is you just have to look at who surrounds you, right? Are the people that are surrounding you loving and kind and doing healthy things for themselves and others? Or are they spending time gossiping and lying and not being straightforward with people and kind of playing head games? That's how you can judge, right? And obviously, like if we have something where you have like, you go to work every day and you're, introduced to tons of different people in the public that you don't really have control over, right? But it still is true, and it will still ring true that predominantly, right, there's going to be, a jerk that passes by and gets into your space here or there, sometimes to kind of test you, to sometimes knock you off your, little high horse, right, or whatever it is. But predominantly are you living and surrounding yourself with healthy people, because you do have control over. If you are in a job that there's predominantly nasty people all the time, well, that's a choice that you're making to stay. And you can pretend that it's about financials, or you can pretend that your mental health is more important, right? So that's the thing, is look around and who surrounds you, because who surrounds you, that's where your energy is. It's a complete energetic game that we just kind of, like people are talking about, like how to make the law of attraction work for them. Well, whatever state of mind you believe. So if you're in lack, you're going to attract that, right? And that's within emotions, that's within, financial abundance, a lot of people focus on. But wherever you put your attention and your energy, that's what you're going to surround yourself with. So just look around at what surrounds you. And if you're constantly seeing lack and you're constantly feeling low energy vibes from people, then that is what is vibrating within you. You're getting what you're receiving. And that's then a job for you to look into, maybe what's happening subconsciously. Maybe is it my environment, that's triggering me, and I constantly am in a state of trying to, get myself out of this, or what could it be? There could be a million reasons, but essentially you're only allowing healthy people in your life, because healthy people, they don't allow unhealthy people in their life, no matter the type of relationship, because healthy people know their value. Next is knowing the value of your boundaries. And this is how you're going to keep positive people and loving people in your life and healthy people versus the negative people, right? So if you have, if you're loving yourself, you have the healthy boundaries, and those are going to protect your mental and your emotional health. So do you give people 3, 4, 5, or unlimited amount of chances, right? Healthy people, I can tell you over and over again that healthy people are not doing this. With healthy people, you get 1 chance, maybe 2 if you're like a really important, relationship in that person's life. But healthy people value themselves, and they know what they give off because they're really amazing themselves. So they don't give people unlimited chances to mess up their emotional and their mental health. It just is not what they're doing. They're not in that game frame of mind, right? And so healthy people are at the first red flag saying goodbye and walking away respectively. It doesn't have to be World War III, but you're saying this doesn't have a place in my life. And if you can't get on with this healthy way of living, I'm not going to participate with you in that. And that's a very, very healthy way to be in a relationship. And unfortunately, our world doesn't promote it as such, but that is the truth. Okay, the next number 3 way that you're going to know if you are actually loving yourself. If you're loving yourself, you're also going to be focusing on your physical health, okay? What you put in your body, how often you are moving and exercising that vessel that you've come down into earth with, right? And the reason for this is because health is like water, okay? Health, when you start tapping into that energy of health, just like water, it's going to spread out and push onto every wall there is that it can, right? That's just how water is. It flows everywhere. And health does the same exact thing. It has no boundaries. So it's not just your mental health and it's just going to stay there in your mental and emotional health, right? It's going to flow out into your physical health as well. And you're going to start to recognize, once you start healing those emotional wounds and those mental beliefs that are holding you back, you're going to start to realize and recognize how important your physical health really is in all of this as well. And so that's usually one of the first indications of someone that people on the outside can start to notice when they're doing the loving work on themselves, is they start to change physically too, because someone who is not taking care of themselves physically is definitely not taking care of themselves emotionally, and vice versa. They go hand in hand. Health is health across the board. Okay. Next, on number 4, if you're loving yourself, then you are regularly seeking out things that light you up and that fuel you, that feel amazing to you, right? Because you know the value of feeling good, and your mental and emotional health is a really important aspect of your journey. So you end up really putting time and energy there and experiencing things that are just stuff that make you feel you, right? Your passions, those are where you spend your time, because you know that you're not only worth it, but it's important to a thriving and happy and healthy life. Okay, then next, when things go wrong, you aren't so triggered anymore. And not to say that people that are loving themselves are never triggered, because I think forever you'll be healing yourself, right? You'll be in a state of, we'll always be healing, and there will always be things that we come upon that will, rub us the wrong way, or that we'll have to overcome. That's the point of Kind of Earth, right? Is that we come here to learn and expand and grow from things that we don't desire, that we don't want, that don't feel good to us. So you're always going to have those triggers, but it's not going to be so life-threatening anymore. It's not going to feel like the end of the world, right? Your triggers are not going to be so daunting, because you're actually going to take care of them and do the work to heal the things within you, and the emotions and the experiences and the beliefs that really aren't serving you anymore. Okay, next, when you're loving yourself, you accept all aspects of who you are, even your shadows. So we've gone over this time and time again, but you're accepting yourself, right? So when you're loving yourself, you're really always in that acceptance mode. Even the things that you hate, like you mess up, and you accept, like, okay, this is where I am. This is how far I've come in this part of my life, and this is, where I stand right now, but I accept me and I love me, right? And you love yourself exactly where you are, unconditionally, all the time. Next, you don't care what others think of you. Now, this is really important, and this is a hard one for people that are just starting out to really do. But you cannot care what anyone thinks, not even your kids, not even your spouse, nobody. It does not matter, because even if they think something kindly of you, you should already know it. It should already be a belief within you that you solidly believe, because the first person to know the truth and the best about you is you, right? And that's what the truth of someone who loves themselves is doing. But also, when someone thinks negatively of you, you just get to accept where they're at and say, it's not going to affect me. That's not going to be what I believe about myself, because I know it's not true, because I love myself and I know who I am on a day-to-day basis. So that doesn't bother me. And if someone continues that's in your life to think negatively of you in a low energy and project you as something that you're not, you need to rethink that relationship, right? That's loving yourself. Rethink someone who is constantly trying to paint you in a bad light. That's not healthy, right? And you wouldn't give them the second, third, and fourth chance. So, you don't care what other people think, even if it's going to be someone close to you. And then next, you are forgiving of yourself and others. That's really important aspect of the healing journey, is to be able to let go and release of things, and don't hold on to things that don't serve you. You're releasing all those aspects of yourself and of others and of your experiences that no longer, help or encourage you, and just really forgiving and just knowing everything happens the way it should, and that you are better because of the experience that you've had. Even if it was a hard one, you are better because of it, because you obtained whatever you did from whatever you experienced. And then the very last one, if you're loving yourself, is that you're happy, right? If you're loving yourself, you're going to be a happy person predominantly. And that's not to say that you're never going to have a bad day, or that you're never going to be mad at yourself, or you're never going to, have negative self-talk. Those things are going to happen, but in very small quantities, here or there, and you're going to correct them as they come up, and you're going to move on with your life. But when you're loving yourself, predominantly, you're a happy, healthy individual who really takes your joy and your thriving seriously. Okay, well, I hope that made sense, and I really hope that everybody out there who's listening has a good framework now for what it looks like to actually love themselves, but also to see where you're at in the journey, and to really feel good about all the hard work you've done throughout these either months or years or days or weeks or wherever you're at on your own journey. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you, and don't forget, love yourself. Bye.